Have you ever seen a movie come out that everyone was excited about, but then the reviews are terrible and in turn no one wants to see the movie? The same thing happens with books, and they're sometimes not so great reviews. The thing about judging whether a book is good or not is based on the person reading it, but whether you want to start it usually comes from those reviews that can make it seem amazing or pretty lackluster. But the easiest ways for writers to keep those reviews from going downhill is to try and keep the reader's attention the whole book. Without having exciting scenarios that are worth reading throughout the whole book, they can seem to be one note, which no one wants a book to be. One example that can be used in this scenario is The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. The book The Catcher in the Rye was a novel about a young man named Holden who had just gotten kicked out of his prep school, Pensy, and was terrified about his parents finding out. So Holden had decided that he was going to take the small amount of cash he had left and he was going to head into New York City. There he was brought on with many different people and experiences, and soon was even able to reconnect with his younger sister Phoebe. But soon he realized that she was wanting to go down the same road that he had gone, and it made him feel heartbroken. He realized how much of a role model he could be for his sister, and tried his best to show her the way she needed to go to be successful in life, unlike him. One review made about the book was by Nash K. Berger. They believed that the book portrayed Holden's prep school as the root of all his issues. But the problem with that is there were so many family matters going on, and it doesn't mean the prep school was all to blame for his issues in growing up. If his family had tried to take his own well-being into account more, then he might have been better off, but we'll never know. Nonetheless, the review clearly believes that Salinger was trying to portray Holden's problems by the prep school. In the review, Berger says, quote, "The author evidently takes a dim view of prep school life, and a few writers have presented it with more effortless devastation," end quote, thus showing how he believes that Salinger is making prep school seem like such a dreary and dark place compared to all other schools. Although Berger believes that prep school may be the bane of all school experiences, I believe that any school could be seen as terrible, but it's by personal experience. Take Holden. He believes that Pensy Prep School is somewhere that has been a terrible experience for him. But for his old roommate Stradlater, he's doing well there and finds it to be a good experience, such as finding girls and going out to parties. I believe that the book The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger is a piece of literary work that truly shows the difficulty that teens can go through while growing up. Holden never wanted to truly grow up, and he always seemed like he wanted to try and hold on to his adolescence but knew he couldn't, which was pretty hard on him. So the way that he could cope with it was the way he viewed his sister Phoebe. He always talked about her as someone who wouldn't care what anyone would say, and she was so carefree, but that's what being a child is all about. In the book, Salinger writes about how Holden was wanting to talk to his sister Phoebe on the phone, and writes, quote, "I certainly felt like talking to her on the phone, somebody with sense and all." Salinger, 42. Even though she was a child, he wanted to keep his innocence alive, and thought he could only listen to her, his little sister. She was the only one who made sense to him because he wanted to stay childish and keep his adolescence growing. In conclusion, The Catcher in the Rye was a piece of literature that pointed out the hardships of growing up in a way that not everyone is able to see, and I was glad to be given the opportunity to read it.